Now it's becoming clear that the fight against corruption is targeted at new corruption money. And to me, that makes sense. Yeah? When you have a mess in your life, you start by sorting out the immediate mess, the mess that is immediately around you, before you try and venture into the old mess. Now, we're in bigger trouble than most people realize. Because even when we talk about the old corruption money, this one affects virtually everybody. In Kenya, every rich person, virtually almost every single rich person, got rich through corruption. And that is a fact. A lot of the very avid supporters of this channel, people who never miss a single video, were educated on corruption money. They had a foundation to their very great life now from corruption money. Give me the name of any great prominent Kenyan family, and I will tell you the corruption deal that got them their riches. You see, in Kenya, we don't have a Bill Gates. We know how Bill Gates made his money. We don't have a Steve Jobs, the late Steve Jobs. We know how Steve Jobs got very wealthy. Indeed, we don't even have a Jeff Bezos, that's the owner of Amazon, who is now reputed to be the wealthiest man on earth. All those guys would pass a lifestyle audit with flying colors. We know exactly how they made their money. But you mentioned prominent Kenyan families. How did they make their money? Corruption. Indeed, the saddest thing is that we have glorified corruption. Now I'll tell you a story. I once met a very young man, about 17, 18 years old. And this young man was the son of a former permanent secretary in the Kenyan government. And we sat down somewhere in a social setting, and people started talking, and the drinks started flowing. And when drinks flow, tongues loosen. And when this young man was very drunk, he made a statement that has never left my mind. He said the following: when I grow up, I want to be a permanent secretary. Now, there were a lot of young people at that place, and I'm sure most of them did not have any idea who the father of this young man was and what he was in the Kenyan government. And I knew that from the reaction his comment got. The young people replied, that sounds boring. What kind of boring job is that, mixed up with government files? And everybody laughed. And the conversation moved on because somebody said they had already started flying, and very shortly they'd have a pilot's license. But the comment of that young man could not leave my mind. We are bringing up youngsters who want to get rich fast, just like their fathers did, via corruption. Stealing public funds. I don't think there's any other way to describe it. Stealing public funds. Anyway, let me not get carried away. So the old money seems to be safe for now. And indeed, the old money seems to be safe in the foreseeable future. Because immediately you start going for the old money, you're going to tear apart the very fabric of Kenyan society. There's no justice there, but that is the harsh reality. However, there's something very interesting that is developing here, behind the scenes. It seems that some youngsters, members of the families of this old money, have been involved in corruption deals in recent times. So they belong to old money. They didn't even need the money that they were seeking in these corrupt deals, because their families already are very wealthy. However, they've been involved in recent deals, and therefore they're very frightened that they're going to see themselves in the newspapers in handcuffs. And I have some unverified information on what they're doing to protect themselves. Actually, you'll find that information in my weekly intelligence briefings. What I've done is I've launched weekly highly sensitive intelligence briefings, which are only available at patreon.com. If you use the link on your screens right now, or search for Chris Kumekucha on Patreon. You're going to be able to see what I'm talking about. Now, I'm not denying you any information. What has happened is that these weekly intelligence briefings are the intelligence information I receive. I receive a lot of information. I don't use all of it. It's impossible to use all of it, okay? Because what happens is before I use information, I have to verify it, But this information is from very reliable sources, sources who have been giving me information for many years. But even these people can be wrong. They can misread information sometimes. So as a policy, I keep that information, a lot of that information, away from this channel. But what normally happens is that a lot of times, a lot of that information finally ends up on this channel, many weeks, many months later, after it has been verified, after things have unfolded on the local scene that seem to support that information. Anyway, in the coming days, we're going to have a dilemma, okay? The fight against corruption seems to be intensifying, and definitely corruption is fighting back and will fight back harder in the days to come. And there's no doubt, as this happens, focus will have to start shifting to old money, old corruption money, and if that indeed happens, then it can only mean chaos for Kenya, because this old money is the very fabric of Kenyan society. You destroy it and you destroy Kenya. It's like having cancer in a very vital organ in your body. And the cancer has spread so much around that vital organ that when you destroy the cancer, you also destroy the organ. So if you attempt to destroy the cancer, you kill the patient. Very, very sad, but very, very true. Until next time, this is Chris Kumekucha.